We're back. Deadline stream, game week 35. Unfortunately, yeah, I was just away for the last 2 weeks. I was on holiday and it ended up taking so long. Well, the game weeks was just so thick and fast, weren't they? 33 and 34 were so close to one another. It just happened to be while I was both away on holiday. And not even when I was like in my hotel. They were literally while I was on an airplane, so I couldn't possibly live stream. But it's great to be back, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be live for every single one now until the end of the season. Yeah, there's not a great deal to talk about, I haven't found, for game week 35. Most of us are probably rolling, but I do have some suggested transfers and some things to talk about regardless, because, you know, we've still got 10 Premier League games going, and there are definitely some players in the game that people are getting frustrated with, so we'll talk about them. Good to have you in here, NCK Footy and FPL Sparta. Barcelona's fantastic, mate, thank you. I really loved it. I was away for like the perfect duration of time as well, so yeah, I didn't get sick of it. I went completely on my own as well, so it was the first time I'd ever gone travelling like completely on my own, and it was absolutely great. I managed to, like, I don't know, I always find that I can like walk much faster when I'm on my own, so I managed to go everywhere I could possibly have wanted. Had a few like just, yeah, tourist groups come and speak to me and stuff, keep me company, which was nice. Yeah, it was a perfect little break. I've had yeah, the last couple of months have been really busy for me. Like, I have a full-time job, I do this, and I'm quite a serious swimmer as well. So I'd been training really hard, and my body was just a bit broken and worn down. So a good few days away, it was perfect. I will show you a picture. Hang on. That's what I'm live for, mate. Ask away. Ask me. Ask away. I've got advice. Well, I don't know. It depends what your issue is, but I'll give you a hand. Yeah, I went to the Camp Nou, mate. There's my pictures. What I found particularly amusing about the Camp Nou is the away end, which was a small enclosure on the top of the stand. Absolutely, folks. I can give you advice and look at your teams. I've got a bit of content to go through as I normally do, and then yeah, I'll got Draft Hound, as you can see. Hang on. I'm a bit all over the place with the technology because I've not done a stream for a couple of weeks. As you can see, I've got Draft Hound open and ready to look at people's teams in. But I'm going to start with all my usual spiel, if that's all right, chaps. So we've got the score predictions. I've gone through each of the fixtures. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I think they're going to go. And yeah, let me know if you agree or disagree. It's always good to chat about how we think the games are going to go. And ultimately, like, this should stem into your picking of like a fantasy team as well. So yeah, let's go with this. So Bournemouth and Chelsea. I think this is going to be a really close game. And to be honest, like, I don't know about you guys, I think I could quite easily see Bournemouth actually beating Chelsea. But I do think Chelsea, they'll probably win this one. At least I'm kind of hoping for my fantasy team they do as well, because I've got Chilwell and Kepa at the moment starting for me. But I've just got a feeling Chelsea win that one. They scrape it 1-0. That would be my view on that. Man City and Leeds, I can't see any reason that Man City don't win that game. They haven't been very, like, they've been conceding goals, so I feel like Leeds could score. But ultimately, like, Man City is just going to be too much for them. I think Haaland probably gets a couple of goals today. Man City score 3 or 4, and then Leeds just, they'll knock in a goal. I think they're good enough to score against Man City. But yeah, I don't see them winning the game. Spurs and Palace, like, on form at the moment, I think these are two really, like, evenly matched teams. I don't know how you guys feel about Crystal Palace, but they've really impressed me under Roy. And yeah, Spurs are obviously absolutely terrible. I can't possibly see them having another really, really terrible start to a game. They must be able to fix that out in their third game in a row. So I feel like it can be a close one. So I've gone for 2-2. I think Harry Kane will get amongst the goals as he has been every game. Wolves and Villa. I think Villa will win that one 3-1. I don't know about, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter selling Ollie Watkins. But Wolves they've just lost 6-0 to Brighton. Like, you're telling me that's not a team you'd want to start Ollie Watkins against? Yeah, it was surprised me to see so many people wanting to sell Ollie Watkins. But I think he's going to play. He's on the penalties. We know when he does play, you know, he's their most nailed striker, likely to play 90 minutes. For me, it's a no-brainer to start with Ollie Watkins. Liverpool and Brentford. I think this will be similar to, well, not similar actually. They're not evenly matched teams, but I don't think Liverpool are any good defensively. So I feel like they'll concede to Brentford. They'll just outscore them, like they have been with teams consistently over the last few weeks, really. I think they'll win that one 4-2. Hopefully some attacking returns from Mo Salah. I see we've got a lot of chat, so I'll have a look at that. Oscar Papa, it's great to have you on board. Aggressive differentials, eh? We'll have a look. I'll have a look at your teams just when I've gone through all my stuff. Some of the content I've got might help you with some of your decisions as well. Maddison to Rashford or roll the transfer. Yeah, I quite like that. I think I'd probably make that move. I don't know about the Leicester fixture though, but you got to think that Rashford is a better option than Maddison. So I think I'd make that move. Then Newcastle and Arsenal. I don't know about you guys, but two teams that seem to be scoring freely but conceding goals. I feel like that could possibly end in a draw, but both teams scoring quite a few goals. I think that's going to be like a 2-2 or a 3-3. I've gone for 3-3 as my prediction there. I think Man United just scraped past West Ham. I think both teams at the moment are playing not the best football, but they're really difficult to break down and beat. As we saw in the 2 Brighton games that Man United have just played, it took a 99th minute penalty winner from Brighton to score against Man United. So I feel like Man United are a tough team to play. I know their away record is really poor, but it's particularly poor against the crap teams. And I don't think West Ham, particularly poor against the good teams. And I don't think West Ham count as a good team at the moment. So I feel like Man United edge that one. Hopefully that's a goal there for Rashford. Fulham and Leicester, that's who Leicester have got as their fixture then. I think that's a good fixture for Leicester. I do think the Rashford one is probably stronger. I think Leicester win that one. 2-1 I've gone for. I think Fulham are still dangerous, but without Pereira and Mitrovic, they're a weakened beast, so I feel like Leicester could win that one. I don't see any way that Everton beat Brighton. I also don't really see how they score against them. I think Brighton win that one 3-0, and I'm very happy to be starting my 3 Brighton players as well. Some people, I certainly did, up until I've seen the lineup predictions anyway, which we'll go through. I was struggling with some benching headaches. I don't know about you guys, but I built my wildcard team obviously with a bench boost in mind. So I've got, 15 players that start, which makes it quite difficult when you've got a single game week to work out who to pick. But I think I've come to my decision now on who I bench, and I'll show you that in a second. And then Forest and Southampton. I just think Forest in their home stadium a lot better than they are away, and I feel like they'll just have enough between them and the fans to edge it over Southampton and keep themselves safe, or at least fight for safety. So I feel like they'll win that one 2-1. Stones to Shah to open up space for Jota to Alvarez and Grealish to Mahrez for a -8. I don't like that, mate. I've got to say, I don't like the sideways moves for Man City players. Alvarez, I don't know if he's going to play this weekend. And then same for Mahrez. I wouldn't be hopping on Man City. I think the team to target, mate, if you're not already tripled up, is Newcastle. Bringing in someone like Callum Wilson would be a good shout because he's got a double next week. And to be honest, if you want to be super differential, I think captaining a Newcastle player for game week 36 is probably the way to go. But you might already be tripled up on Newcastle, I'm guessing. But yeah, that would be my initial thoughts on that one, Mike. And then goalkeepers and defenders. We've got Steele top of the list for goalkeepers. If you've got Steele in your team, he's been an absolute steal for you, isn't he? I think he's still under 4 million, and he's the top goalkeeper for predicted points this week. Ederson. Oh, God. I'm glad that I've said that people shouldn't be picking him in my videos. Because, yeah, he's been absolutely terrible for the last few weeks, hasn't he? Conceding goals, not making saves. Just rubbish. So yeah, he's second, but I don't know. Do you let me know in the chat? Do you think Ederson's going to play? I'm not. Ortega kept a clean sheet in his last game. Ederson hasn't managed that yet. I think there's a definite case to bench Ederson again and keep with Ortega, who kept a clean sheet. Kepa's up there as well, so I'm happy to start with him. Martinez, Navas, Jose Sarr, and De Gea. And top expected points for a defender is Trent. He's been in absolutely fantastic form playing that little inverted role. I think it's only a matter of time before Klopp decides to just stick him in the midfield. I don't know why he hasn't done that already, to be honest. I think he's fantastic. So yeah, we'll see. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet, so I think your points are going to come from an attacking return, which I think is quite likely against Brentford. Stones is there. I think Man City have got high clean sheet odds against Leeds, so that's why he's so high up. Robertson, similar to Trent, although, yeah, the question is, does he play? I think he probably does, to be fair. Estupinan's up there, Laporte, Dunk, Diaz, Akanji. I mean, you can see all the players there. Those are the top goalkeepers and defenders. And then we got the midfielders and forwards. So top for the midfielders, it's no real surprise on that lot. Salah, Mahrez, Foden, Rashford, Mitoma, McAllister, and Luis Diaz. The thing is with these is it's Drafthound's prediction of the lineups. So I think Drafthound are predicting Mahrez and Foden to play. But Mike, I know you've said you wanted to bring in Mahrez. I'm not, you know, you can't say you're 100% confident he's going to play, which makes me think it's a real risk to bring him in. You got Haaland, Alvarez, Kane, Isak, Wilson, Jesus, Watkins, Vardy for the forwards. Actually, quite like Jamie Vardy at the moment. Yeah. Goal scoring odds. Haaland tops both of these. So goal, he's 74% chance of scoring a goal this game week and an 80% chance of being involved in one. Alvarez is up there again as well, and it's fair enough if he starts. These goal odds assume that every player on this list plays 90 minutes. Obviously, I don't think Alvarez is going to play 90 minutes if he does start, and also, I'm not sure he does actually start. Kane's always up there as well. I think those that have held on to Kane have not done too badly out of it at all. I just had to sell him to fund other moves in my team, but yeah, you guys with Kane, you can be confident, I think, against Palace. And yeah, you can see the rest of the goal odds there. I won't go through all of them. And then some clean sheet odds. Brighton and Man City are the two top teams to be expected to keep a clean sheet, both with 52% clean sheet odds. So they're the only two teams that are technically more likely than not to keep clean sheets. So yeah, I think Brighton are heavily backed. Of course, they should be against Everton. They've literally been one of the best teams in Europe since like the World Cup, in my opinion. And Man City as well. Obviously, they're just running away with the league now, in my opinion. Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Forest, Villa, and Man United are the teams above 30%. I never usually like starting defenders unless I've got a choice. Unless I've got no choice, I don't like starting defenders below 30% because I just think those odds are too low. In Tottenham, 40% clean sheet odds against Palace. I'm not sure I back those, but the rest of them I could probably get on board with. Right. People have been waiting patiently for me to have a look at their team. So let's have a look. Calmate, as you can see, I've got a few more things to go through, but I'll show my team. So I have Trippier in at the moment over Zinchenko. I really think it's close, but I've just got a feeling Trippier is a better option. And you just think attacking returns related. It's the games at St James's Park. I think if you're going to pick a winner of the game, for me it's Newcastle. I think it'll end in a draw with both teams scoring, to be honest. So to be honest, I think I could quite easily see both of them blanking. But likewise, you know, if you're seeing both teams scoring, and I think Trippier is more likely to get an attack and return. So for that reason, I'd go for Trippier. And I think the bonus point system is a bit kinder to Trippier as well. So like even if goals go in and he doesn't keep making assists or whatever, I feel like he could get amongst the bonus points, whereas I'm not sure. Not sure Zinchenko's got that. I just think Trippier's got more strings to his bow this game week. Yeah. And Mike Ramsey makes a good point. NCK Footy was first up on the list, so I'll have a look at yours. Thank you for waiting patiently, mate. I always like to go through the content first because it's nice to just go through all the expected points before we start cracking on with people's teams. By the way, I now have a sign-up link for Draft Town, so in the description of this live stream, if you want to use this service yourself for free, you can sign up using the link below. It's all good, bro? Right. For some reason, my Draft Town and internet has been a bit slow today. Well, the only move I would make there, NCK Footy, is just starting Kepa in goal. I mean, Bournemouth away is better than Liverpool away. The only other thing as well is that I think Grealish, well, we'll look at the Man City lineup predictions at some point. Have to stick with the stream, but I think Grealish is actually back to be benched this week. But looking at your bench, it's not particularly great. So I think you're going to have to just play Grealish. But yeah, I do think Grealish is going to get benched this week. Whether that changes like your views on who you bring in, maybe you could bring in a Newcastle player with their double in 36, who knows? Or do something to fund getting in Isak for next week for 36. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, Grealish is expected, well, by the Man City fans' predictions anyway, to be benched this week. And I think he could well be benched as well. Just looking, he started both the games with the double, didn't he? Foden's back in the fray now as well. I could see Grealish getting benched this week. But other than that, mate, I've got no other comment. I mean, that's a great team. We saw the top players for expected points, and you've got most of them. So I can't, other than Grealish not being expected to start, I've got nothing else to really add to that, mate. Sooner Gooners. There he is. You'll have to bear with, folks. I think Draft Hound is a little bit slow this morning. It's obviously the influx of traffic that I'm bringing their way because of my massive live streams. Only joking. Lovely, lovely team. The only things I would consider doing is benching Grealish because I'm not sure, as I said, not sure he starts this week. NCK footy, I don't mind it, but I don't think I'd be... Just don't see the appeal of selling Watkins. I think Watkins is a better asset than Alvarez, if you wanted my opinion. I think maybe you should be looking for another striker. Go for Callum Wilson. Why would you... I think you should go for Callum Wilson. That'd be my view. Then be doubled up on the... Because you only had one Newcastle player. So then be doubled up on the two Newcastle strikers, who are both in amazing form, by the way. Get yourself doubled up on them for 36. I think that's what I would do. As for this team, I think I would be benching Grealish. I think this is Mike's team, isn't it? I think I'll be benching Grealish just because he's not predicted to start. So yeah, I think I'd be benching Grealish. And then as for Diogo Jota, I haven't, because I don't have him in my team, I can't say I'm like fully up to date on the news. But if there's like an ounce of doubt in your mind about him starting, I think you should probably start Trippier instead. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? And would you start Trippier over Luke Shaw? I'm not sure I'd do that. Oh, I see. You got Trippier and Botman already. I see. I would definitely look to get Isak in, and then I'm just not sure I'm a big fan of Alvarez. I think there are other options. Does that help you, Mike, what I said about your team? I feel like Grealish is a bencher this week, and then Diogo Jota, I'm just indifferent about him. I don't know if he's going to play, but likewise, I don't think he's worth selling because you've got a strong bench there. So you could quite easily start Trippier over Jota if you don't believe that Jota's going to play. But I don't think you'd be rushing to make a transfer. Just give yourself 2 frees for next week to maximise the double. Then you can do something like Jota to Isak next week. Or maybe, if Jota is not fit for this week, you could swap him out for Isak today. I would say if you don't believe Jota, if you don't believe Jota's going to play, I'd go to Isak, I think. Because he's got the double next week and it sets you up nicely. Rather than doing Grealish to Foden, that's a sideways move. I think I'd do Jota to Isak if it was me. And if you're looking to make ground as well, there's not really an alternative captain to Haaland this week. If you had Salah, I'd say give it to him, but yeah, you're just going to have to stick the armband on Haaland, I think, aren't you? Especially Leeds at home, like, you can't really ask for a better fixture. Right then, FPL Sparta. Hopefully that helped you, Mike. I'm conscious my opinion is different to yours, but hopefully that's what you asked for, my opinion. You don't want people to think the same as you. You want something to think about, don't you? What would I do with Saka? I wouldn't be too against holding on to him. I think Newcastle, we could do all right in that game. But yeah, it just depends if you've got like a transfer target, someone like Rashford or, you know, a Brighton mid, someone with double game weeks coming up, it might be worth a transfer out. But likewise, I wouldn't have a problem holding him. Or rather than Jota to Isak, you could do Jota to Wilson because Wilson is the least owned of the two. Maybe that's the move, mate. Wilson's the riskier one if you want him to go punty and differential. All right, whose team am I looking at now? This is FPL Sparta, isn't it? Right then, sir. It's a painful one, your team with Martial in it, isn't it? Can you afford? Can you get Wilson? No. Isak's too much now as well. Oh, that's a shame. I'd probably roll with that team. It's a bit squashed. It's just that Grealish is not predicted to start, but then I don't think Martial will either. Oh, you've only got 2 Brighton players as well. I like Grealish to solid March this week. FPL Sparta. I like Grealish. Oh no, you do. You've got Steele. My bad. My bad. You don't have Rashford. Oh mate, Grealish to Rashford this week could probably be the move I make. You tripled up on United already. You are. Oh no, I'm bringing in players you got tripled up on. My bad. Let's get Grealish back a second then. Yeah, I think it's going to be a painful one for you because you might have like Grealish and Martial that both don't play. And as a result, does that mean that you... Why can't I find Grealish? Actually, he's not predicted to start, that's why. Yeah, you got a tricky situation there, mate, haven't you? Have you got Alvarez in as well? Have you done Martial to Alvarez or something like that? You've done Martial, Grealish out, Rashford, Nunez in. Fair enough. My only problem is I play McAllister and Matoma, mate. I'm just not sure Alvarez is going to play. We'll obviously get the Man City. I'm sure we'll get some Man City predictions as well. I would say if Alvarez does play, I would put McAllister and Matoma in now, just in case the game freezes, because I feel like Alvarez is too much of a risk. And then if Alvarez is in the starting lineup, I'd bring him in for McAllister. I know McAllister scored the penalty against Man United, but overall, I just feel like Matoma is a better option. I'm getting through them. Wise Guys and Goodfellas next. Oscar Papa. I'm also desperate for the loo, so I'll do this one and then I need to make a quick toilet run, I'm afraid. Too much detail, I know. Struggling to find your team, pal. Still one word, Wise Guys and Goodfellas. Please advise on this benching headache. Need to bench one of Saka, Martinelli, Watkins, or Solanke. I'd probably bench Solanke. Yeah, just of the four assets, I think Solanke's the lowest, isn't he? I know Chelsea at home is a good fixture. I think I'd just bench Solanke. I think I would. I'm really struggling to find out your teammate. The one thing you might have to break your anonymity, I'm afraid. One thing that might help me is if you tell me like your name that your FPL team is registered against. Oh, I think I'm lagging. Sorry about the lag there. My laptop's struggling to do all this. All the yummy poo-poo. Thank you, mate. There he is. Got you, mate. It didn't. I don't think it liked it when I typed in the symbol. And you can tell my laptop is working overdrive because I think it made the stream freeze when I was trying to find you then. Bloody hell, that's a nice team, mate. That's a nice team. Yeah, you're benching Eric's right. I think I'd be benching Solanke of that lot. Although, I've got to be honest, mate. Like, I guess you're back in Madison then if you've got that bench decision. Oh, there's so much to keep up with on the chat. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to look through everyone's teams a second. I think that would be my starting 11, to be honest. And then the real benching decision for me is between Madison and Solanke. I probably have that 11. Hopefully that helps. If I've missed your team now, there's quite a lot in the chat to keep up with, so I'm going to read through the messages, and if you want your team looked at, please send it again, because the chat's just running too quickly now. Sorry if I'm missing your messages, just type again if I've missed it. Morning, Shaniel, mate, it's good to have you in. Sorry I've missed that. So I've got Grealish and Jota to start, Murphy and Castagna on my bench. My next best players, got Wilson this week, so anything else would be a hit. No hits, mate. Don't take a hit, it's pointless. What would you do with Saka? Did I answer that one? I think I just keep him. And then move him on a double game week. Start De Gea as my goalkeeper and bench Kepa. Yeah. I think Man United are better defensively. I think they're one of the best defenses in the league at the moment. The Brighton game, case example, Brighton played amazingly well. Man United literally held them all game, and it was a last minute penalty. Like, you can't say that's a result of Man United defending badly. There was a Luke Shaw. Like, you know what happened in that game. I think you can take that game away, the 2 games they played against Brighton, and consider Man United a decent defensive team at the moment. And yeah, Mike Ramsey, I think the move is Jota to Wilson if you want to be a bit differential. Because, like you say, Isak's the safe one, Wilson's the risky one, but seems to be scoring. Only one Newcastle player, that's fine, mate. There's next game week for that. They've got Arsenal this week, so it's not necessarily the time to get hopping on them. Saka vice captain, or Mahrez vice captain, actually. Thank you very much, Bert. Yeah, I'm focusing a little bit on FPL at the moment, purely because just of the time. But I'm just going to try and crack out a bit of fan team. I'll certainly show you my fan team on this stream if that's useful, mate. Watkins or Isak in for Jota. You've got to go for Isak, mate, with the double game week. If Grealish is benched, shall I do Grealish to Foden or Grealish to Bruno Fernandes? I think you should go for Bruno Fernandes because you don't have the headache of not playing every game. He's going to start every game, and Man United have got a double game week too. My only problem is play. Yeah, I think I answered that one. Jota, Watkins, Haaland, Saka, Rashford, Fernandes. Saka or Jota out or roll the transfers? God, that's a lot to take in, mate. I feel like if you have an 11, a decent 11 with Jota on the bench, you don't need to make a transfer. But if you have to play someone for the bench who's not ideal as a result of Jota potentially being injured, then you should transfer Jota out for Wilson or Isak. That'd be what I do. Matty win a lot. You have to tell me your team name, mate. Sorry if I've missed it in the chat. Let me know and I'll flash it up. Keep Mahrez. Yeah, mate, he's predicted to start. Alvarez is a striker. Robertson or Dunk? Close one, innit? What I tell you what I do with the close decisions is I flip a coin. So I'm going to find my Indonesian coin of truth that I've not used in a couple of weeks. And we're going to do that because I feel like, I don't know if anyone else in the chat, please chime in if you've got any thoughts on that, but I think Robertson and Dunk is 50-50. And how do I make 50-50 decisions in life? I use a coin and I flip it usually. So I'm going to take the decision out of my hands and your hands. Unfortunately, I can't find the Indonesian coin of truth. So it's going to have to be a 50p. The coin of truth. Praise the coin of truth. It's also got Queenie on it as well. There's Kingy now, isn't it? I don't know, has he been coronated yet? Is that the right word? I can't say. I'm obviously not watching it. I'm doing a deadline stream. Thank you, by the way, for tuning into the deadline stream. Above King Charles's coronation as well. I'll accept that rank as your future king. Right, we're going. So Dunk is going to be heads because he heads the ball, and then Robertson's going to be tails. All right. Dunk wins, mate. Dunk wins on the coin. Tom Clark team point Dodgers. Let's have a look then. Just checking you're first in the queue. Yeah. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? I've lost him. Point Dodgers. Tom Clark. There he is. 187k overall. We're pushing that top 100k, mate. Nice one. I don't know where that Bristol accent came from, although I do live in Bristol. I can see why you've got the 50-50. Although, to be honest, mate, unless you've made a transfer to this team, that's how I'd line up. Thank you, Danny Clough. I really appreciate that, mate. Who to start between Trippier or Shaw? Honest opinion, I would say Trippier. I think I would say Trippier. My gut says Trippier, just because, you know, Luke Shaw playing at centre-back's all well and good, but when he's playing at centre-back, you're getting a clean sheet and not really any attacking returns, whereas Trippier's got potential of everything. Okay, 2 free transfers. I've just seen that. You better use one then. Although, what the hell do you use it on? So you got single... Rah, bloody hell. What do you use this transfer on then, mate? I'm as confused as you are. I'm confused. You've only got double Newcastle, but then it's not worth bringing in one this week with the team you've got there. Watkins is a great option this week. I wouldn't sell him. Pereira to De Silva for some more money. Yeah, why not, mate? I don't see a way that you can improve that team with a transfer. I think that's literally the best 11, almost the best 11 you can possibly pick this game week. Like, genuinely. So, yeah, go for a cheapy mid. I'd go cheapy mid. I think, yeah, but Watkins and Alvarez compared, like, I genuinely think they're level because Watkins has been so good. I feel like he's dropped off, like dropped off people's radars because he blanked against Man United. But look at what he's done this season. I mean, undoubtedly been better than Alvarez, and he's on the penalties. So I feel like Watkins to Alvarez is a very luxury move. And looking at the fixtures, Wolves away, Tottenham at home, they're 2 good games. I wouldn't get rid of Watkins. I think you should do Pereira to someone dirt cheap and then just buy yourself a bit more cash in the bank. Because, yeah, Andreas is out for the season. So he's just going to be dead anyway. So may as well swap him for another dead player who's a bit cheaper. But literally, I think that's one of the best 11s you can pick in the game. I would say that Matty win a lot, but I'd also say that maybe, I know I just said you could keep Watkins, maybe Watkins to Wilson next week for Wilson's double, ahead of Watkins also having Liverpool away, might be a way to go. So I'd keep the Newcastle triple up open and then bring in a striker next week. That's probably what I'd do. Because, yeah, Watkins against Wolves is better than Wilson against Arsenal, but then next week Wilson is better than Watkins, so just wait till next week. I'd do a dud transfer in your midfield to someone dirt cheap, and then do Watkins to Wilson next week, so you've got the, like, Trippier, Wilson, Isak is the ideal Newcastle triple up in my view. Team name is Matty Win a Lot. Right, we'll look at Matty Win a Lot, and then I have to go to the loo. I've had out of my golden goal mug, which is currently being advertised down below, by the way. I'm having a cup of tea out of my golden goal mug. And it's making me need the loo. So I'll do this and then have a look. Matty Price. I assume that's you, mate. You've got a football in your YouTube name and a football in your FPL team, so I imagine it is you. Mate, that's a lovely team. Are you considering a transfer this week? I mean, what's your thoughts? What have you been saying? Took a -12. Bloody hell. Took hits and worked out. Fair play. See if you've got a plan then. What would I do with your team? Honestly, like, have you made a transfer already? Because one thing this won't do is... track the transfer you've actually made this week. It will select the team you had upon the deadline of 34. So if you've made any transfers, let me know and I'll show you them. But honestly, I think I'd be rolling. If you don't believe Jota's going to play, I'd just do that. Put Martinelli in, who's obviously a great option. Yeah, Jota to Wilson could work, but then you've also just got Martinelli. Like, on paper, I think Martinelli is good enough to start against, to start in your team. I don't think there's much between Martinelli and Wilson, to be honest. So maybe I just bench Jota and play Martinelli. And then you got 2 transfers next week where you can bring in Callum Wilson and an extra Brighton player, maybe for Martinelli. for the double game weeks they've both got. It's probably how I'd play it. Right, I do need to go to the loo, I'm afraid. I will be back in 5 minutes. If anyone joins the stream and asks for their team, just say I'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, sorry about this, folks. Yeah, coffee has meant I need the loo. We're back. Maguire triple captain, absolutely not. Scott Carson, he's going to play one game this season. As long as if Man City wrap up the title for game week 38, Scott Carson will start. K squad, I'll have a look at that. Thank you for excusing me, mate. Although I wouldn't have taken your permission, I was gonna absolutely explode then. K squad. Oh, always the case, isn't it, Khalid? Are you able to just tell me like your surname or something like that? I think that might be you, from memory, if I can remember. I'm not very good with names. I think that might be you. Let me know. Yeah, I would side men shorts. Grealish isn't actually predicted to start this week. So yeah, I'd be going with Isak. The loose stream, keeping it real, man. I'm authentic. What can I say? Yeah, I've just been yamming a coffee, so I needed that. There might be another one before before the end of the stream. This is my second coffee of the morning. Right, we're looking at Khalid's team now. I'd go De Gea ahead of Kepa. I think I've already told someone to do that. De Bruyne is the big one, isn't it? Like, you cannot possibly not start De Bruyne if he starts. So I'd wait for Man City team news, but I think the team is... It's probably that. And then if De Bruyne plays, I think Grealish doesn't. So I'd do De Bruyne for Grealish. But if the two of them do play, I'd do De Bruyne for Isak, I think. Just. Yeah. So De Bruyne comes in for either Grealish or Isak if he's in the team. Otherwise, I'd go with that. Hopefully that helps you, Khalid. And yeah, Haaland's the obvious captain for me this week. I'm not going to say those two things, spaghetti and beans, because yeah, I'm intrigued as to why you have two team names. We'll have a look for your name rather than. There you go, Diaz nuts. I can say that. Oh no, it's called Joe Fart. Interesting. I'm happy to say them because they're actually your team name. Mate, the only couple of changes I do is that. I think you're sorted. I wouldn't bother making a transfer. I don't think it's too profitable to bring in Callum Wilson this week when he's got Arsenal. I think I'll just roll with that. And this is on the basis that Grealish doesn't play. I think Khalid, mate, that is a complete 50-50. Because I think they're both like equally likely to keep clean sheets. So it's just, does Wan-Bissaka play? I think he's been playing so well that he must be. Yeah, that's how I'd probably start Wan-Bissaka. But if you have a feeling, if you're interested in doing it, I'd do it, mate. I don't think there's enough in it. Go with your gut. If that's what you're feeling, then I'd make the move. Sorry, Zane's NFC, I missed that. I will have a look at yours now. Hello, Ben Vlogs. How are we? I'm very well. I hope you're well too, mate. It's good to have you in the stream. We're back to normal now. I'm back live. Sorry you missed me for a couple of game week deadlines. What we got going on then? Zen. Let's see. The only transfer I'm personally thinking of is going Kepa to De Gea. But I've only got one free transfer this week, so I'm not sure it's worth it. But no Man City team news is going to impact my team. I think Haaland's going to start, so I'm not too worried about that. He's my captain. I'm guessing that's, yeah, you're the only Zane's NFC. If Jota is benched, then I'd use a transfer. If Grealish is benched, I would just bench him in my FPL team, I think. I'm sure you've got someone to play on your bench. Right, we're looking now at Zaid Matar. Hopefully I said that right. Mate, I think your team is nice and easy to select. I would just do that. I think Akanji will probably play, to be fair, because he missed the last game. So maybe, I would do that. Yeah. That's probably what I'd do with your team this week, mate. And the rest of it, captain, vice-captain, selected perfectly. Ben McCrum, mate. Oh, that's a disaster. Raya has been terrible. What have you got, Iverson on your bench then or something? FPL Matty win a lot. I really appreciate that, and I hope I can continue to do it as well. What's been, obviously, it's lovely to have the stream grow, but it does make it a little bit harder to keep track of everyone's team. So what I am going to do is, well, I've applied for it already because, well, yeah, we hit 1,000 subscribers. I haven't been live since we've done that. Just thank you, everyone. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. But last week while I was away, we hit 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, I'll get a few more options open to me in YouTube. And I feel like I'm not going to do it right away because it just feels selfish and greedy because I don't need to. But when things start getting, if they do get a lot bigger on the stream and just in terms of the chat going crazy and people want their teams to be looked at, I'm not going to charge the world. I think I'll probably do like $2.99 a month for the membership. But what I'll do is I'll look at people who are members, I'll look at people's teams in Draft Hound for them and give them some advice. I think that might be one of the first things I do once the thing grows. We're not big enough yet where where that's a necessity. But once the chat gets really tough to keep track of, it's already been quite tough today because, you know, people have got questions and they want their teams looked at. It can get quite hard to keep track of. So yeah, let me know if you think that's a good idea. I'm not going to charge the world or anything. I'm not going to expect you, and also not expect people to pay it either. You can sign up for Draft Hound yourself and just look at give yourself advice. But to keep the just to keep the chat at a normal pace, I think that's how I'm going to do it. I'm viewing the teams on Draft Hound, mate. If you look in the description of this live stream, there is a sign-up link. The sign-up link will just take you to the free service where I think you can look at your team plus, and it will just show you the predicted points for this game week. Whereas I've got to say, I can't remember how much the actual subscription is, but they've kindly given me the full version so I can see expected points like week on week. And yeah, that allows you, when you pay the Draft Hound subscription, you can see all that. Ben Vlogs, no pressure to get the membership, mate. I don't want to make anyone, I'm not going to say anything, ask anything, people to get it. It'll be your choice when it goes through, mate. But yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you did. And yeah, I will try and give this personalised advice to members once the chat gets too difficult to keep track of anyway. I think that's probably a good way to manage it. One free transfer, Raya to steal. I think Raya to steal this week. Steele is the top goalkeeper for predicted points. Brighton are top of the clean sheet odds as well. I think they'll keep a clean note against Everton. So I like that. And then Isak in next week for Jota, I think makes sense. I'll have a look at your team. Hang on. Liam's asked a question. Foden for Bruno and Almiron to Murphy for a -4. What do you reckon? Mate, no. Don't like that. I think Foden will play this week, so I probably wouldn't do that. And there, Carol, I was literally about to say, we got Ben McCrum in the chat. He would offer a better opinion than me. And yeah, Ben's offered that. I would play Trippier. I'd play Trippier. I feel like Malacia could start this game against West Ham. And Jota's, not Jota. Dallo has obviously been playing left back. So yeah, I'd probably start Trippier. And I feel like Trippier's got more routes to points. It's all right, PS. Hopefully that helped you, mate. All right, Salah team. You're a Liverpool fan, Ben. That's the insight we needed. Is that you, Sidemen Shorts? Which one of those is you? Let me know, and then I'll click on a. Or unless you have 2 teams. Looks like you have 2 teams. Hey, he's got 2 FPL teams, everyone. I'm not going to tell him, don't worry. First one. This dude's got 2 teams. I don't have a police hat to, or a police. Get the police emojis out. Two-team police. Don't tell FPL. Don't worry, mate. I'm not going to tell anyone. I think that's your team loaded up. If you want some advice, tripled up on Newcastle. It's a nice triple up, mate. I think literally I would just do this. I wouldn't make a transfer this week. I just do that. Mate. Oh, Ben Vlogs, I've forgotten. Sorry, mate. And then Kepa in goal. But yeah, Sidemen Shorts, that's the team I'd go for, mate. I think. Don't think you need to make a transfer. Ben Vlogs, I missed your team. You are an OG, so I apologise greatly for that. Paisang FC, I can absolutely do that, mate. Because the chat is running at a bit of a quicker pace than I'm used to. Thank you, everyone that's in, by the way. If I do forget to search for your team, just put it again in the chat again. Don't spam it like crazy, but if I miss it, please type it in again so I don't miss it. It's a nice team, Ben Blogs, you know. It's a nice team. I wouldn't be rushing to sell Tony. I think Ben McCrum, the Liverpool fan, would probably agree. Tony could well score against Liverpool. Just looking at your team, I think bench boost is best played 37. Yeah, I'd say 37 too. Gakpo's a minute's risk. What do you reckon, Ben? Who's going to play for Liverpool? Do you think Gakpo's starting? The only question is, like, who do you bring in if Gakpo don't play? That's probably Fernandez, isn't it? You can afford him. Yeah. If you're worried about Gakpo's minutes, I'd probably go to Bruno for his double. And then you can do Tony to Isak next week. But if Gakpo's going to start, then just leave him in. We'll have a look at the team predictions as well in a second. In fact, I think once we go through Paisang FC, I'll flash up Twitter and we could have a look at the predicted lineups. So this will be the last team review I do for a little while. And then we'll have a look at the predicted lineups once I look at this. Done his back, Ben Vlogs. He just keeps picking up knocks, I think. Just keeps picking up knocks. You've got an unknown keeper, apparently. Tell you what, mate, I like Danny Welbeck. He's a nice pick. I'd start Danny Welbeck over Grealish because Grealish is expected to be benched. That would be my team, I think. Exactly that. Don't think you need to make a transfer. Wouldn't be rushing to do that. I think that'd be my team. I think Danny Welbeck's a great shout, by the way. But Bartos, we're about to find out, because it's very hard, I think, for anyone, even if you're a bit of a, you know, you are a Man City fan and close to the team and what have you. I still think it's quite hard to predict Pep this week. So we're going to have a look at Jump the Wave and see what predicted lineup she's got. So that's the Liverpool predicted lineup. Man City predicted lineup. And then I'll show you in more detail. That's the Man City predicted team. I'll leave that on screen for a sec. So no Grealish, importantly. Arsenal predicted team. Some players all saying Martinelli's not going to start. It's an interesting one. Right, so this is the important stuff. So this table, might not be able to get it all on screen, but you can just have to trust me to read through it. Basically, Emma, who is this account holder's name, she gets 20 fans of each of the top teams in the Premier League that regularly rotate. She gets those 20 fans to predict the starting lineup every week. You can see on the table there's 20 entries for each player. There's a 1, that's the fan predicting the player to start, and if it's a 0, they're predicting them to be benched. And then she also puts those figures, because they've been doing it all season, so she matches up their prediction this week with how accurate they've been in previous weeks, and then comes out with a final figure, which is the bold percentage at the bottom. So I think the key people we want to look at, so Akanji is 100% to play, Mahrez 60, Grealish 20, Alvarez 33, Haaland 100% he's expected to play, Foden 92, Gundogan 100, Bernardo Silva 43, KDB is 83% to start. So I can't remember whose team I looked at that had KDB in it, but I think I'd be starting KDB this week. Rodri's only 48, Phillips is 32, Ake 48. Basically, lots of rotation expected. Ake's under 50% to start, by the way, so it is a bit risky. And I feel like Ake's one of those players that could come off the bench as well. So it's looking like outside of the big boys, that Man City team is a real minefield this week. I'm personally unsure about Edison. I don't know, like, what justification does Pep have to play Edison? I mean, Ortega kept a clean sheet last week. Team news and ticks will be my source for early City team news, and I've also got I don't know if it's on this Twitter account, but I've also got a Twitter list. Yep, Team Nami. Once I've gone through the lineup predictions, I'll have a look at your team. Chelsea. Are we interested in Chelsea? Probably not. Kepa's expected to be the goalkeeper, and Chilwell's expected to start. I think that's all we care about with Chelsea, isn't it? There was Euclid, wasn't it? Yeah. I'd back KDB to start based on that. Man United, Martial's not expected to play. Sancho, Anthony and Rashford's expected to be the midfield, the strike force. Fernandes, Eriksen, Casemiro, Shaw, Dalot, Lindelof. And then Wan-Bissaka, Malacia is like the 50-50 there. So Dalot's 100% to play apparently for United, which is interesting. Yeah, I agree, Frederick. He will start every game. He has done already. Like, the only games he hasn't started are the ones that he's been injured for. So I completely agree with you. No one's interested in Spurs, really, are they? Kane's going to play. He's the only one people have got. Liverpool predicted lineup then. So Gakpo's 100%. Darwin and Diaz are like 50-50. Salah's 100%. Curtis Jones, Elliott, Fabinho, Thiago, Van Dijk, Trent, Robertson, Alisson. They're all 100%. So all, Gakpo, Salah, and then it's a 50-50 basically between Diaz and Darwin. Diaz is 62, Darwin's 38. So yeah, use that to make up your decision. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka has a rotation risk, and the Man United predicted lineup suggesting that as well. Arsenal. So it's looking like Martinelli v Trossard is very 50-50 this week. Some are saying that Martinelli will play, but Jesus won't. Some are saying Jesus will play, but Martinelli won't. So it's 50-50 by the looks of it on whether Martinelli or Trossard plays, and then the rest of the team is as it has been really by the looks of it. Someone's actually saying Zinchenko won't start, but I'm not sure I agree with that. I think that covers us nicely for the team news, isn't it? I don't like. See, everyone's going mad on Alvarez, but I don't like him. And the Man City predictors are saying he's got a 33% chance of starting this week, so that's not enough for me to be going for him. But I do like Grealish to Fernandes because, oh, you're doing Fernandes to Grealish. No, I don't like that at all. Neither Alvarez or Grealish are predicted to play this week, mate. So just stick with Fernandes and your current team. I wouldn't be selling Watkins for either of them this week, mate. He's got Wolves away. Like, he's been in fantastic form. The only fixture he's blanked in was Man United away. That was one game. I feel like he's a great option. Plays 90 minutes, takes the penalties. I think he's better than Alvarez or Wilson this week. I really do. Make the move to Wilson next week would be my play when Wilson has a double. This week, it's not worth it, mate. Just stick with Watkins. You know he's going to play. There's no doubt about his minutes. He's got a better injury record than Wilson. I mean, the last thing you want to do, you take out Watkins for Wilson. Watkins scores, Wilson gets injured, you're just in the mud. You don't want that. Just stick with Watkins. I'm just going to see if we got any team news. I feel like, I don't know, it's impossible to say about March and Matoma, mate. It's impossible to say. Brennan Johnson as a diff war, bloody hell, mate. I've no idea. You have to, I would say, do your own research on that one. But probably, I think he's a great option. Thank you very much, Beezy. It's been a pleasure to make content for you, and yeah, I promise you it will continue. I don't know if you can tell, but the lighting situation has improved. I bought myself a professional photography light, so I'm just going to continually improve the content. I think over the summer I'll invest in a proper camera as well. I know the camera quality is all right, isn't it? But I just use my laptop webcam. So I think going forward, I might improve that and maybe get some nice things to go in the background rather than a white wall in a painting of Bristol. But yeah, thank you very much. And all I can promise you in return is that things will just keep getting better on the channel. And yeah, I appreciate you joining my streams every week, mate. I enjoy making them. I blanked against Fulham and Brentford. Oh, I still think Watkins is a great option, mate. I really do. I wouldn't be making that move. I think that's, yeah. Like I said, the worst case scenario is you do that. And this is worst case, but it's got, it could happen considering Wilson's injury record. You sell Watkins, Watkins scores, Wilson gets injured, and then you're absolutely screwed for next week. Frederick or mate, 50-50. I don't know. I have no idea. I think Isak is the safer, but ultimately Wilson seems to have been slightly better for returns. So we could do the coin flip if you'd like, Frederick. Or we can do should we do a Wheel of Fortune? We'll do a Wheel of Fortune. Sebastian, once I've done this Wheel of Fortune, I will have a look at your team. Go away, cookies. Ready? Spin in the wheel, mate. It's very laggy wheel. There you go. Also, can you tell what shoes I've just bought as well? Bought myself a nice pair of New Balances. I went for those, but in black. So yeah, I'm into my New Balance shoes at the moment. Let me know if you've got a pair of New Balances. Right, we're going to look at someone's team name. Team Narmi. Let's have a gander. You can check on FPL, mate. Log into FPL and it'll tell you. I think it's 1 o'clock. I don't know, mate. I just feel like they're a bit samey. Everyone's got them. Lots of people have got the 550s. So yeah. I just want to be a bit different. I'll show you them in a sec. Hang on. While we load up Sebastian's team, I'll show you my new shoes. I really like them. Hang on. Check it, mate. Look. If you see that. There you go. Sick, mate. I just think they're a bit different to the 550s, you know. I appreciate that, Matty Will, a lot. I just like to improve things, you know. I think it will help. Yeah, Malik, I can search anyone's team. You can do the same if you sign up to Draft Hand in the description as well. We were looking for Team Nami, weren't we? Sorry, mate. I got distracted by the shoes. Honestly, I'd probably do that. And then if we get news that Stones doesn't start, I think I would do that. And then obviously Kepa in goal. Twitter account is Golden Goal FF on Twitter, mate. Same as the YouTube handle. There you go. Look at that timing. There it is. Give us a follow if you want to follow. And I've got a personal Twitter as well, Tom Hartnell FF, which is... Got to keep doing it in the opposite direction. That's my personal Twitter there. I'd tweet on both. Follow both if you like. I'd appreciate that a lot. Appreciate the kind comments on the shoes. And also, I was very clever. So what I did is whenever I buy something online, I don't know if you do this, I'm not going to start promoting something because I think there's one called Honey that I've seen adverts from Mr. Beast on. But whenever I buy something online, I try and find discount codes. And I bought these on by the way, I'm guessing if you guys like these shoes, you're probably into these kind of clothes. There's a site called 2 Seasons, which sells like Dickies gear. Conveniently have a Dickies hoodie now as well. And I found a discount code that was 25% off. So I got these for 50 quid, which I think is a very good deal for a pair of trainers nowadays. Stones to Trent and Watkins to Alvarez. Nah, mate, the Alvarez love's not worth it in my opinion. He's not even predicted to play. Yeah, he's not even predicted to play, mate. If you don't mind, folks, I'm going to flash this screen up just so I can log into FPL so you can't see my password. Oh, I'm really struggling. FPL won't load for me. Everyone else struggling with FPL, or have you got it working? I can't log into FPL at the moment. Bit annoying. Shit. Unless I've forgotten my password. I think I might have forgotten my FPL password. I'm going to reset it. De Gea, mate. Absolutely De Gea. I think De Gea is probably... Genuinely, I think De Gea is the best goalkeeper in the game for the rest of the season. It's quite a bold thing to say, isn't it? But I think so. I think it is. Yeah, but I want to share. I want to share on screen, mate. So I want to log in on my laptop. There must be something up with FPL because I haven't had my password reset email yet either. Just going to make sure my team's selected correctly. We might have to just play around in Draft Hound for the day rather than actually go into fantasy. A bit annoying, isn't it? But yeah, it just doesn't seem to be working. Just making sure my team's correct. Yeah, so I am benching Jack Grealish this week in FPL proper. This is really annoying. I can't actually sign in. Are you guys all good with your FPL? Can you get in? Yeah, just Draft Hound, it seems. Oh well, I'm happy with my team in FPL, so I'll just stay on Draft Hound. Alright, we'll go back to that view. Would you start Grealish with early team news? I think I would. I'm going to go back to my team now, if that's okay. Changed their style on the website, did they? Is that why I've been struggling? Does that mean I've got to make a whole new set of graphics? Is it the same color system? That's my team. Right, Ben McCrum. I think it's going to be Everton, Leeds, and Southampton. I think that was a feature that's been there for a while, isn't it? Captain Kane if Haaland doesn't start. Yeah, he's a good option. Why not? Kepa or Edison? Oh no, just start Kepa. I don't like Edison at all. I think it's close between the two of them anyway. But if you've got to use Edison, if you've got to use a transfer on Edison, I'd start Kepa. Absolutely. Like Edison, he's not keeping clean sheets and he's not getting saves, so his points are just no points. And I feel like Leeds are going to score this week. They're playing for their lives, so yeah, that's what I feel. Right, I'm going to try FPL again because it's playing silly buggers with me. Apparently, my membership has been approved. I don't know if you can join my channel as a member now, but you can. What I've decided I'm going to do for members is basically you're going to get access to my videos early. And yeah, maybe as the stream grows, these personalized like team views you get, I'll be able to do it for just members because it's going to get quite busy. I've got a feeling. So yeah, if you want to support the channel by joining as a member, I don't actually know how you do it, by the way. It's my first time. Hopefully the option is available to you. If it's not, don't worry about it. And also, don't worry about it in general. You don't have to do that. My highest ever FPL rank, well, I think I've been in the top like 50k this season when it first started. But realistically, I haven't been playing FPL for that long. I've been focusing on other fantasy games and really only started FPL in the last like sort of season and a half, really. Yeah, I've had no email from FPL. Because yeah, the games that I've been preferring in previous years to FPL are the ones where you win money. So Sky Sports Fantasy Football and Fan Team are the two that I have been playing because you actually can win real money out of them. And obviously FPL is great, but the prizes are not amazing. So in short, I've been focusing on the ones you actually get prizes from. Yeah, FPL is just not working. I don't know what's going on. Also, the thing is with Sky, yeah, it's not working for me. The thing is with Sky Fantasy Football, is that Sky Bet look after the money for you as well, rather than having to trust someone. Adam Auer, no, Grealish is not predicted to play. No one's got any news yet as to whether he does. I haven't seen any. I believe Raptors news about Haaland. Why not? I think Haaland's likely to start. But yeah, don't know about Grealish yet, mate. It's predicted that he's not starting. But yeah, I don't know. We'll watch the Man City news together, can't we? Let's go back to screen share. Is FPL working yet? No, I'm just stuck on this screen. I don't know what's happening. It's just frozen, mate. I can't even get into the game, let alone sort my team out if Man City team news comes out. My favourite content creators? I like Planet FPL. I think he goes really in depth about fixtures and stuff, and I find that really useful. And just the big man himself, Let's Talk FPL. I really like him. I like Raptor for his personality and advice. I like Focal. I like them all, really. I can't say I particularly have a favourite. I also think FPL Juice is a very good one as well. For somehow they've not like absolutely blown up yet, but they've got a podcast studio and everything. They've really put some effort into their channel, and well, I can just appreciate what they do as a fellow content creator. And obviously, FPL Harry, what's going on here? FPL Harry is absolutely smashing it this season. So it's always worth looking at him because he's being amazing. I did enjoy the tweet. I'm not going to go in on him because I'm sure we might regret the tweet now. But he thought someone had been copying his team all season and he tweeted about it. But I think I'd be flattered if someone actually wanted to copy my team week on week. That's fine, isn't it? I think you open yourself up to that as a content creator. And for me personally, if I made a living off of making FPL videos on YouTube, I'd rather that any day than actually winning FPL. So that's just my view anyway. Ben Vlogs, you want to copy my team, you go right ahead, mate. In fact, I might make that a members benefit where I share my full team to members only. How about that? But yeah, like if you want to copy my team, fair enough. I just want to do well in FPL. Like if I want it, great, but I mean, my chances of winning FPL, anyone's chances of winning FPL are very slim, aren't they? Yeah. Can't get FPL to work. I'm going to try it one more time. This, by the way, is DraftHound's best predicted 11 for the game week. Alvarez is there, but I'm not sure he starts. Other than that, I think I'd agree with it. Yeah, I've done the password reset and everything, but it's not working. I forgot my FPL password, please. Give me another one. It might be because it says that. We'll try it again. Try and get into FPL. Yeah, there we go. I was typing in an incorrectly formatted email. I'm going to reset my FPL password so we can actually sign in. Just making double sure that I don't have my screen on where I'm resetting my FPL password. I'm going to go, just to be 100% sure I don't end up sharing my screen, typing out a new password. I'm going to go to this screen. Sorry, folks, if you've asked me any questions. I'm just sorting out my FPL password, which doesn't seem to be working. Right. What? It's an incorrect email and password. I've just reset my password. There we go. We're in. We're in. Stones to VVD? Nah. Wouldn't back VVD at all, mate. Just keep Stones. Stones got a double coming up as well. There we go. We're in. Look. Something happened. I don't know what happened. There we go. Any thoughts on Luis Diaz? I think he starts Vincenzo. The predictions are saying that he plays. He probably gets 60 minutes, though, and then comes off for Darwin Núñez. That'd be my thoughts. Jota or a Brighton mid? I would play a Brighton mid. Grealish to Mahrez? Nah, wait. Just think that's too luxury, mate. Best two Brighton mids, in my opinion, they're the two I've got, March and Matoma. The underlying numbers are better, but I think McAllister is, he's earning his way in, isn't he, with the penalties he's scoring. So I think ultimately just pick two. I don't think there is a completely correct answer. And the deadline's at 1:30. Someone was asking when the deadline is. You can see it out there. Right. I'm glad I got logged into FPL finally. I'm going to go back to Twitter now, see if we've got any team news. Is playing 3 Brighton mids too risky? No, they got Everton at home, mate. It's a fantastic fixture. They're one of the best attacking teams in Europe. I think they're fine. Would not be worried about a triple up against Everton. They scored 6 goals in their last, against that sort of level of Premier League team against Wolves, didn't they? No, we don't know. A lot of people are saying Ederson's actually going to start. It's just my opinion that he might not. Like, I'm just thinking about it. 100% of the Man City lineup predictors, by the way, are saying Ederson plays. So don't take my word for it. I think he will probably, based on that. I mean, I don't think he plays just because what case does Pep have? Like, Ortega kept a clean sheet in the last game. Why would he take Ederson out? You know. But all the predictors are saying Ederson plays, so I'm not a Man City lineup predictor. Yep, saw that. Matty win a lot. Fine for me. I think he was going to play anyway. I didn't really need to see the leak. I thought he'd be fine to play. Ooh, Raptors getting done for some attention seeking, apparently. Not sure about that. Like, he's sound. Not gonna lie, what do you expect when you put your team online? Well, exactly. Like, and as I said, like, ultimately, winning FPL is amazing, right? But would you rather, as a content creator, in my opinion, would you rather win FPL or make an income from talking about FPL? It's an easy one for me. I'd rather do the latter. Like, it's what a dream. I love it. I love the game. You know, I want to get the best rank possible. I realise it's a 1 in 9 million chance of winning the game. Obviously, most people give up like halfway through the season, so it's a bit less than that. Or I could like win by talking about it. Like, I love doing these streams and making videos. I know what I prefer. If someone wanted to copy my team, I'd be flattered that they thought I was a good enough player for someone to do that, you know? No Man City lineup news at the moment. We've still got an hour to go, though, I guess, until the deadline, haven't we? I'm looking forward to me lunch, I must say. Oh, Ben Vlogs, exactly. I mean, we're all pretty much on a level playing field at the moment. Like, well, with my YouTube channel, for example, lots of the stuff I show on here, so you might actually have to pay for if you wanted to look for it yourself. So, like, top expected points, all the underlying data, etc. I like to think just on my channel alone that I share, like, and that's like the best. That's the best like data you can get, right? Other than like XG, expected points, all that. You can't get much more in depth than seeing those stats. Other than like predicted minutes and stuff. I think Disable this on Twitter. He said the defining factor now in FPL is your ability to predict 2 starts. 2 free transfers for Roberto. I'm just looking at your question now, mate. 2 frees. Would you do Botman Watkins to Ake Wilson? Kepa Watkins to Gea Alvarez, or Grealish Watkins to Fernandez? I would do Kepa to De Gea, and then use your transfers next week on Newcastle players. Because this week I don't think it's worth bringing them in, and Watkins is a great option. But if you can do Kepa to De Gea this week and then bring in a Newcastle player next week, that's what I'd be doing. We'll see, Ben. We'll see. It'd be a nice one to have, wouldn't it? But, and again, like, I feel like predicted minutes it's not something a computer can do for you. I feel like it's something that's a very subjective thing, and it's whether a player starts or not, I feel is more of a subjective human, you know, you have to consider the emotion in, like, I'm not sure a computer can do that yet, if that makes sense. I think that's a human decision. Whereas expected goals, all that, obviously a computer's better at calculating that. Start Trippier over Shaw. I would start Trippier over Shaw, mate. I'm doing it. I would do it in my team, sorry. I don't actually have the opportunity to do it, but I would do it. Yeah, there are already models that do expected minutes, but my general point is I think it's more of a human prediction than a computer one. So yeah, I'm not sure I back the models at the moment. I don't know, maybe your opinion's different. By the way, I've not asked for this yet, but if you are enjoying the stream so far and getting use out of it, or just enjoying my company, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like rating, and if you're not already, if you could subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. XG is, I read into it a lot. For me, I think it's one of the strongest statistics you can look at for predicting a fantasy football player's output. It's just, and the thing is with XG as well, is like short term it can go like this, but over the long term it's pretty accurate. Like a player will align to their XG over the course of like a whole season. It's very rare that someone underperforms their XG all season long. But expected minutes on a computer, I'm just not sure. Like predicting Pep, I think there's a human thing. There's just so much to think about, like in terms of how the opposition line up, and just loads to think about that I don't think a computer can quite do yet. But like XG and stuff like that, expected points, I rely on that heavily, which is why I show it on my channel, because I think that's the key stats you should consider when making a fantasy team. I just sort of had some DMs on Twitter rather than flash them up in front of everyone. Don't worry, I don't think anyone's going to be sending me predicted lineups. No, I've not got anything. Says a lot, doesn't it, Ben? Like the two, like Brighton and Brentford, right? They're not the best teams in the Premier League, but they're the best teams operating on the budgets that they have. And the fact that they go off of data like you're suggesting, and they're the best teams with the budget they have, kind of says a lot, doesn't it? Don't know what to say to that, Fufa. I completely see your reasons for captaining someone that's not Haaland, though. Could you get up an XGA table? Would be interested. No, I can't. But if you look in the description, rather than me get that up, I would look at FBref. Here's a source for you, fbref.com. In fact, we'll see what it has on it, because this is what I use anyway. We'll see if it's got like a Premier League XG chart. But yeah, you can search for any player in the Premier League and it will tell you their underlying numbers. Mate, I'm 120, 105k, I think. It's all right. I want to finish in the top 100k. Best Man United defender is absolutely Luke Shaw, in my opinion. He's the most nailed, and he's currently probably their best centre-back. I'm just having a look, mate. I'm trying to get the overall Prem table up. I think this just shows teams rather than players. There we go. But yeah, rather than I'm struggling with a there you go. Well, no, I said it was 105k. I'm actually 125k. My mistake. My mistake. There's 11 million players as well. Wow. But yeah, FBref's the one, mate. I don't think there's many good ones for overall Premier League, but just yeah, look on FBref and you can search up any Premier League player to find out yourself. And also, just from making YouTube videos, I've not got like an encyclopedic memory of players' XG, but I reckon I can have a good guess at most if you ask me. We could do that now. We could do an XG quiz. Tell me a popular player in FPL and I can tell you their expected returns per 90 stat. Or have a guess. Oh, side bench shorts, I don't, whatever. You have a look at the rank yourself. Tell me if it's good or not. The rank only matters at the end of the season as well. That's the only thing that matters, isn't it? I reckon, Ben, it's like top 100k, isn't it? That'll be my view. Don't know what you think, but it's that top 100k with just over 10 million players is top 1%. So I'd suggest that's the good ranks. It's always top 1%, I think, is good rank, in my opinion. So Sky is top 100. Fan team, I'd say literally, yeah, top 100 again. Well, and yeah, you're right. You know if you're winning money or not. FPL, I'd say, is top 100k, isn't it? I also feel like, and this might be a this might be a controversial one, but when we talk about players' skill in FPL, I think once you get like into the top 100k, ultimately, and this might sound a bit controversial, but the higher you finish up in the top 100k is almost a luck thing. Like there's skill, right, and then there's luck, and I feel like finishing consistently in the top 100k is where skill comes into it, because it's consistency. Whereas anything like getting higher up in the top 100k is more of a luck thing than anything else, isn't it? Because I feel like you've got to be lucky with some of your picks to go more than that. Yeah, I think the skill in FPL is shown by consistency, and then like how high you finish in a season. Like as nice as like I want to give full respect to FPL Harry because he's been mentioned as someone with a high rank. There's absolutely no way that you get into the top 200 in the game without a bit of luck going your way, right? It's not possible in my opinion. But he's a consistent top finisher as well, and that's what defines him as a very, very good FPL player, like one of the best in the world, I'd imagine. But getting in the top 200, you obviously need skill to get yourself there, but it has to come with a bit of luck. There's just no way. Like you're predicting outcomes of things that haven't happened yet, and you're the top, the 200th best in the world at doing that. There's no way that doesn't involve a bit of luck. And I'm not discrediting Harry at all. He's a much better FPL player than I am, I would say. That's fine, Ben. And also, I feel like that with FPL sometimes there's putting effort into it and then there's putting too much effort into it. You can spend so much time on this game and you can just analyze it to death and it doesn't actually help you. I feel like there's a balance of how much you actually need to think about the game to give yourself a real advantage. And past a certain point, it's too much. Like, how many transfers this season do you think you've thought about and made, and actually you're better off just leaving your team as it was, for example? And for me, that's an example of over-analysis. And I've done that a lot this season, where I've made a transfer and it's probably not even worth doing it. I should have just rolled. Oh, Man United win the Champions League, mate. Yeah, sure. Like, winning FPL would be amazing, but Man United winning the Champions League would be even better for me. And I also feel like Dan, this season, I don't know, I can't say to have followed FPL Harry all season in depth. I certainly haven't copied his team. But what was I going to say? I feel like this season, how many like risks has FPL Harry taken, do you reckon, to get top 200? Has he made any outlandish punts? I don't know if anyone's watched him and can comment, but has he? I don't know. Doesn't strike me as that kind of player when I've watched him. Liverpool score prediction, I've got them all here, mate. I've got done all the games. I've done all the games. I think they'll win 4-2. 4-2. They'll score a few goals. Brentford, there's no way Brentford don't score in that game with how good they've been. I just think Liverpool score more. Maybe something like 4-2. That's my prediction. You can see the rest of them there. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree with any of those. As in, Liam, you think they're going to win it? I can. You're probably questioning my prediction, Khalid, but yes, I mean, if I've predicted them to win 1-0, so yes, I'm predicting Chelsea to win. It's also probably biased in the fact that I've got Chilwell and Kepa in my team too. Honestly, mate, there are no teams that are like the clean sheets are coming so few and far between in the Premier League this season. And ultimately, like Dan, yeah, fair enough. And to be honest, I think he's Let's Talk FPL has a very similar way of, well, Andy has a very similar way of my thinking. But I also feel like just copying someone's team all season is just not fun. It's just not fun. Like, you need to make your own decisions to make the game enjoyable, don't you? And I'd also say, like, whilst I've been taking FPL YouTube very seriously, catch you later, Bert. Thanks for joining the stream, mate. It also means that I watch less FPL content because obviously I'm spending more time making it. So I've not seen much to know what these guys are doing in their teams. I'm just assuming that I'm doing quite similar, of course, because we sort of know who the best players are. I would start Matoma, mate, because Grealish is not predicted to play. Is starting double Newcastle attackers risky? Yes, I think it probably is. Not because I don't think they're good options, but because they're both playing Arsenal. And I think you might have other players in your team that could be better. I don't think in isolation it's, yeah. In terms of minutes, I don't think it's too much of a risk, if that makes sense. All right, let's have another look at Twitter. See what everyone's saying. Fair enough. Yeah, and like obviously that's the reason you copy someone, isn't it? So you win money. And yeah, I'd agree on Andy. He's the first like FPL YouTuber I started watching. He's very professional, very polished. He's just so good because he's been doing it for so long. And I really like him as a person as well. He seems like a really genuine guy on his videos. And he's not afraid to like take the mickey out of himself if things go badly. Like he takes it in his stride whether things go well or not. I agree. I really like him. That was a bad word to say about him. Who else is good to sell Jota to? Well, I would say have a look at this list, mate. Those are the top strikers for predicted points this week. Don't like Alvarez because I don't think he's going to play, but the rest of the list is there. Those are the top expected points for forwards. Big yawn. I think Isak's cheaper than Wilson, isn't he? Sorry, I just saw a Man City team news from City Extra, but it was a prediction. I mean, we all know Haaland plays, doesn't he? Like back in the play. Or maybe he's just bench him, mate, if you don't back into play. You've probably got a strong bench anyway. I'm going Haaland as captain, pal. Oh. Once again, My internet is freezing on me. I don't know why I can't get an FPL at the moment. Yes, Ben, I think it's almost guaranteed he's going to go. And to be honest, I think he goes to Brighton. Brighton are interested in him. I think he'll go there and absolutely smash it there because they've got good options in those positions. I think he'll get a good amount of minutes. I think he'll go there. Or he'll stay at City. I think I'd be happy for him to stay. But to be honest, like, with someone like that, I almost feel like you're better off selling him because whilst he's amazing, you can do a lot more with the money, improve the rest of the team. He'll probably go for like 25 million, 20 to 25 million. And with that kind of money, you can buy like 3 or 4 really, really good championship players. You know, we can buy a new defender, centre-back, which I think we need. We need a striker, and I feel like we could replace him with someone else as well. So for those kinds of players, sometimes it's better to sell and use the money. Similar to what I think Tottenham should do with Harry Kane at the moment. Like they should 100% sell him this summer and then use the money to actually buy some decent players that don't bottle it after 30 minutes. I'd start Trippier, Beezy. That's what I would do. Play Dallo or Trippier. I'd play Trippier. I just feel like Trippier's got more routes to points. Interested, Dan Hilton. Where would you rank Golden Goal Fantasy Football Way? Number 1, of course. Yeah, I'm struggling. I don't know if it's my internet or anything, but I'm struggling to load up any FPL stuff at the moment. No one's tweeted anything about predicted lineups. Who's going down? Leeds, Southampton, and Everton, in my opinion. Like, those are the 3 worst. I know Big Sam's coming at Leeds and he'll have a little bit of an impact, but they need to win. I think they need to win a couple of games, and I just don't think they can. Got a stinking cold, best advice. Hot bath, have a curry, that sweats you out, and then just take loads of paracetamol and ibuprofen, drink loads of water. And also, hang on, there's a video, right? If it's a sinus cough or cold, hang on, I'm going to go off the screen share so I don't get done for copyright. There's a video. I'm not going to plagiarize it, so I won't play it. But I'll show you it on the search. That video, that one there, right? That will cure your cold. Well, it won't cure it, but it'll make you feel so much better. So, motivational doc, 9.1 million views. That's the title. Watch that video. Help me out. And also, what you can do, I found this out recently, but like the Vicks and stuff like the steroid nasal sprays, they really do work. But you've got to only use them when you've got a cold because they can become addictive. But a steroid nose spray, like a Vicks or something like that, will really help you out as well. But only use them when you've actually got a cold because eventually your nose will revert back to the norm where you can't breathe and you just have to stick that out for a little while. Because if you keep using the steroid nose sprays, your nose will become reliant on them and never recover. And I almost got caught in a trap of that after I had a cold. Start Odegaard or Solanke. Solanke. You got him, haven't you? He's on the Penos. Yeah. Ooh, 1v1 v Ben, am I? Let's see your team then. In the very mini league cup. Let's have a gander if it works. A very mini league. There we are. I'm 10th. I'm literally in the... Look how good that mini league is, man. Wow. Where's the cup then? What is cup? Cups is there, is it? Oh, I progress by a bye. Who have you got then? Alright, let's have a look at Ben's team. It's a good job you haven't asked for advice this week, haven't you? Before saying that. City Extra, did they post? I think I saw that and it was a prediction, wasn't it? So we have to go back to 33 to find out your team. It's a good team. It's very similar to mine, to be honest. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Interesting to see what happens. If Raya keeps a clean out against Newcastle, against Liverpool, you're laughing. I think it's fine, mate. I wouldn't worry too much. Go back to that screen. There we go. Hello, Lee Fisher, mate. They're reliable in terms of leaks if someone has a link, but I think predictions is... I just don't know how you could possibly say anyone is reliable at predicting Pep this week. Everyone is saying they're unsure of who's going to play. I think only Pep knows what his lineup is, really. So we wait for the leaks. Steele, Dunk, Trippier, Shaw, McAllister, Grealish, Salah, Rashford, Wilson, Jota, Haaland, Murphy, Castagna, Pinnock. Bench, would you make a change? No? I like that team. I wouldn't make a change. Would you take a hit to make a change? Absolutely not. Yep, Harishan, I need to know your team name and then I can have a look. Wags. Alright, I might have to search for your name if that's alright, because I imagine a few people are going to have that team name. There he is. It's a shame you can't do Odegaard in for Solanke, isn't it? I like this team a lot, mate. I like it a lot. Would I make a move? Probably wouldn't, you know. Probably would just leave it like that. Gabriel's not predicted to play for Arsenal, is he? I mean, I'm open to advice. Would anyone make a transfer to this team? I think I'd just leave it, to be honest. Botman's probably the one you could take out. But ultimately, I think I'd be leaving it. Yeah, I think I'd be leaving it. Just checking my DMs, by the way. I'm not being rude and just going on my phone. Has Charles had his crown then? I appreciate you all watching my deadline stream as opposed to really stuck, mate. I've said it. Just start Trippier. You've copied and pasted that. Pretty stuck. You've gone from pretty stuck to really stuck. I'd start Trippier. I just think he has more routes to points with Shaw playing at centre back, mate. I just think he could get an attack and return. Shaw's not going to do that. Slightly less clean sheet odds than Shaw, but I prefer Trippier, mate. Think of it. Shaw's ceiling today is 6 points. He's not going to get an attack and return playing at centre back. He's unlikely to. Whereas Trippier, we know what he's like. He could get bonus points, he could get a clean sheet. I feel like Trippier is the best option because he has more routes to points. Yeah, me too, mate. I don't. Well, I don't. I'm not anti-Raw or anything. I'm just indifferent. I just don't really. It doesn't affect me at all, to be honest. I'd rather do a deadline stream, so that's why I'm here. So I appreciate that, Lee. We are 45 minutes to the deadline. Any other questions or decisions for people to make? Any talking points? You can ask me anything. I don't just do fantasy football. Ask me a question about anything. I don't mind. Football, F1, I do it all. I'm into most sports, to be fair. I can talk about them. There we are, as my team. One thing I'd usually do is I do stick around usually after the stream's finished, but considering, oh no, we're going on till 1:30, aren't we? So it's another hour and a quarter. Oh, sorry, yeah, it's 45 minutes. But yeah, I'm desperately hungry, so I'm going to have some lunch straight after this one, rather than stick around, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm a hungry guy. I went to the gym this morning, so I've worked up a bit of an appetite. For lunch, mate, I've got this. I found a recipe on YouTube, right? So it's like chicken, bit of broccoli, bit of pepper, bit of onion, load of pesto and cheese, bit of a keto, no carb lunch, you know? That's what I've got. Bit of protein. Zinchenko to Estupinian. Like it, Lee. Makes sense. Makes sense. I think you definitely Arsenal concede today, given how good Newcastle have been going forward and the fact that Arsenal don't have Gabriel. So it's probably going to be... What is it going to be? It's going to be Rob Holding, Ben White, Tomiyasu. Oh, no, they've got Kivior. Is that his name? Oh, mate. Favourite supermarket. I do my Lidl, mate. I like my Lidl. And you get Lidl Plus as well. I don't know if anyone's got Lidl Plus. Sound like I'm a Lidl ambassador. But Lidl is better than Aldi because of Lidl Plus. Because on Lidl Plus, you get rewards based on how much you spend, obviously. You've reminded me to update the app, actually, because every time I've been going in Lidl, I can't use the app. Because I need to update it. But yeah, I got a free bakery item last week, so I had a free pain au chocolat. Not really, Dan. I must say I'm kind of into all sports except for cycling, but I can talk about cycling. Are you a velodrome sprinty fan or more of a Tour de France guy? I also struggle because, well, it's probably like every sport, isn't it? But obviously most of the guys that do the Tour de France's, they must be drugged up to the eyeballs. So I'm kind of a bit less into it because of that. But ultimately, I guess if they're all into it, then it's kind of a level playing field anyway, isn't it? Oh, I've got my Lidl scratch cards. We see what we've got. I've won, mate. I've won. Let's see what I've won. A £1 quiche, mate. Look at that. Hey. Deluxe quiche for £1. It actually they look pretty decent. Spinach, red pepper, and feta for £1. We can get a spicy chorizo and red pepper quiche. Yeah, I watch a bit of both, mate. Usually only the big stuff, though. I can't say I'm a diehard fan of boxing and UFC, so I don't really watch like the undercardy stuff. But yeah, I'm a fan of both. I watch both. I think boxing has been a real shame about the Usyk and Fury matchup. Those two just need to fight each other. But that would complete if Fury beat Usyk, that would complete his career, wouldn't it? There's nothing else for him to achieve in the sport once he's done that. So that fight just needs to happen, doesn't it? Morning, afternoon to you too, James. Usually these are in the morning, so I understand the mistake. Oh, mate, as an Edison owner, I think you've just been so unlucky. You really have. Like, what you just, yeah, it's ridiculous. Fred got caught before. I think, mate, there's loads of YouTube videos on it. I think the world of drug testing in football is very, very crap. And I know footballers get drug tested a lot, but they don't sound like they're very, like high-level drug tests. So yes, I think there are quite a number of footballers on. I don't think they're all using human growth hormone because that gets caught too easily, but I think a lot of them will be dabbling with something. I think Haaland is just a freak, mate. The team to look at is Bayern Munich. They are pretty sus. Like, you see some of the physical transformations of their players. Goretzka is the one. If we look at him, I'm going to Google Goretzka steroids for a laugh. But yeah, the guy is, just, look at him. He's a fucking tank. Oh, I swore. Shouldn't swear on stream. That's my one and only swear word. But yeah, I think he's been doping. Yeah, I think they're all on. I think they're all taking a bit at Bayern Munich. Even Coutinho got huge. Look, he filled out his Barcelona shirt in the space of a season as well. Yeah. The thing is, Fadley, that's all well and good, but if Haaland gets benched and he comes on, I reckon he still scores. Lots of those questions, Juntao. I would personally start Trippier, mate. I just think he's got more routes to points. That's fair enough, Dan. My girlfriend's parents are big watchers of the Tour de France. They've always got it on when it's happening. Mr. Blanky, all good, mate. We've kind of gone through all the content before, so you might want to rewind to find out all the stuff, but I'm here if you've got any questions. Yeah, but it's Big Sam, mate. Do you think they lead? I don't know if it will happen, but I hope it does, Dan. Like, Joshua Wilder has been a fight that should be happening, really. I think that'd be really interesting. And Usyk Fury is a fight that should happen. Like, both of those fights should happen. If it was the UFC, Dana White would have made the fights already. But boxing is so annoying in terms of matching up and negotiating and all that crap. It just annoys you. And the judging in boxing is pretty sus as well. Depends. Juntao, if you've got someone on your bench that you'd be comfortable playing, then just bench him. But if your bench is a bit low grade, I would transfer him to Isak. Favourite UFC fighter? I like Stipe Miocic, I gotta say. I really like Stipe. In terms of MMA fighter in history, it's probably Michael Bisping, because he had one eye. He had one eye, and he fought. He kept fighting. Won the world championship against Luke Rockhold, one eye. But yeah, I just really like Stipe. He's not retired, is he? I don't think so. I just feel like Stipe, because he's just, obviously he's not the heavyweight champion of the world. It'd be one to see if he can beat John Jones. But in my opinion, he is like, you know, of all the men in the world to have a fist fight with, Stipe Miocic and John Jones are the two you wouldn't. And I don't like John Jones. So yeah, Stipe is my favourite. If Haaland's bench, what's my move? I captain Salah and I still play Haaland, I think. You know, if he doesn't get any minutes at all, someone will come in off my bench. But if he doesn't get minutes, if he does get minutes, I think he can score. I do wonder what the Fury fights have done to Wilder, because that last Fury fight when, you know, he was bleeding from his ears and stuff, like, I think that really could have damaged him quite a lot. Yeah, so we'll see on that one. I think he really got beaten up by Tyson Fury in that one. Mr. Blanky, it depends. It depends. I'm not doing it. I've got a free transfer. I'm just going to roll it. I think it just depends on your situation. The player I'd sell him for is De Gea, if I had a choice. I would start Chilwell and, well, wait on the Man City news. If Stones is playing, I'd start Stones and Trippier, I think. Yeah. Then if Stones isn't playing, Chilwell, Trippier. I don't think Fury is damaged though. He's not had a big knockout, mate. I don't think he's taken that much damage. Wilder's the one. He got properly beaten up in that last fight. I think Fury's okay for damage. He hasn't taken much, in my opinion. Yeah, Mr. Blanky, let me know your team name, pal. I think Fury really should do one or two more fights though, and then he's done. He doesn't need to do any more. Just fight Usyk. If he loses, he's got to do a rematch, and if he wins, that's it. Doesn't need to do any more fights. Doesn't need to prove anything else. I don't think he needs to prove anything against Joshua. I think without fighting each other, you can safely say that Fury's a better fighter than Joshua, can't you? So I don't think that fight needs to happen. He's beaten Wilder. If he beats Usyk, he's done. If he doesn't beat Usyk, he'll get a rematch. And then if he loses that, it's done. And if he wins that, I'd say it's done. Yeah. Hala Madrid, FPK, Flying Peaky. I don't know who wins that fight, mate. I wouldn't want to call it. I wouldn't want to call it. I'm going to sit on the fence and say I don't know who would win that. Yeah, I would agree, Ben. I really don't know who's going to win that. And Usyk, like, every fight he's going to have, he's going to be doing it for his country. And obviously the situation, it's like, he is the most motivated boxer in the world, isn't he, Usyk? Because he's always fighting for his country, like, to do his nation proud. I feel like he is the most motivated boxer there is. So that's another thing he's got going for him as well. But I feel he would die in the ring as opposed to lose a fight. Whereas Fury, he's got more to think about, hasn't he? Fury hasn't lost either, has he? I don't think Fury's lost. No, he hasn't. Fair enough. Fair enough, Ben. But yeah, just his story, like beating Klitschko, completely boxing his head off. Fair enough on Otto Wallin, but yeah, I just think he's the best. I also feel like Usyk, does he have the only man I've seen properly, like, you know, be able to knock Fury out is Wilder. Does Usyk have that power? Because I think Fury's got some chin on him, and I'm not sure Usyk has the power to like properly knock him out. So it would be a proper boxing contest as opposed to Usyk going for a knockout. Whereas Fury, I think he can both knock people out and jab their heads off, you know. Sorry, Mr. Blank, I'm getting distracted by the boxing talk. You got 2 frees. I would do. Oh yeah, do Kepa to steal. You've not got a Brighton defender. Kepa to steal this week, mate. I think that's a good move, Kepa to steal. And then you got a nice double game weeker next week. Yeah, Kepa to steal. I don't know why I've done Forsters. You know what I mean. Do Kepa to steal. But the rest of the team is absolutely sound. That'd be my move, mate. Kepa to steal. And Brighton are top of the tree for clean sheet odds. Steele is top of the tree for goalkeeper expected points. Yeah, do that. Yeah, I just like that's the thing. I think in boxing, it's a lot of it's a mental game as well. And you compare the two. Who's got like the greatest motivation to win? Fury, who is a multiple-time world heavyweight champion, beating all the competition that's come his way. Usyk's just another challenger in his eyes. Usyk, his country's being invaded by Russia. So he's fighting for Ukraine. He's just hungry to win a world title. He's undefeated too. I feel like Usyk's got the better like motivation going into the fight. So I think that's the key thing between the two, to be honest. Like, if Fury lost that fight, ultimately, would his life change that much? That's where I think it goes between the two of them. Would you do Grealish to Rashford and Martial to Alvarez for a -4? No, because I don't think Haaland's going to be benched at all. I think Grealish is going to be benched. And I think Alvarez is going to be benched too. So, no. I would do Grealish to Rashford, though, if you can afford it. I would do Grealish to Rashford if you can afford it. I think it's time for some team news, isn't it? Hopefully we got some. Oh, in league lineups is going to be 20 past 1 on Instagram. So I will log into my Instagram at 20 past 1 and have a look. That's all the news you need to know, isn't it? Stick with me until 20 past 1. And then the game will eventually freeze. So what I would do, right, is you set your team now, in my opinion, for the worst case scenario where I think Haaland's going to 100% play, but I would suggest that Grealish and Alvarez are both going to be benched. Because when these lineups come out, it'd be great. We'll see the leaks. But I feel like the game's going to freeze. So set your team up now. I think Haaland's good to start, but Grealish and Alvarez, I wouldn't be starting the two of them. Captain picks Haaland 1, Salah 2, Kane 3, Rashford 4. That'll be my captaincy order. Well, this dude's got some early team leaks potentially, saying Meslier has been dropped. Tweet. We're having a scrolly scroll. What team news and ticks? He's obviously sounds like he's got just friends in the industry. Basically, I think. So I think the deadline to actually give your team to like the referee for at the stadium for the match is 2 hours before kickoff. And yeah, he must have a mate that's part of the recipients of the leaked lineup, and they just break the embargo and share it. So yeah, the managers have to submit a team sheet 2 hours before kickoff, and some people were just privy to it a couple hours before. And it sounds like Team News and Ticks has got a mate who is. I think that's how it works. Obviously, Pep absolutely hates that. I'm sure all managers do. Dean Smith did. We know that he got impacted by it. Oh yeah, Team News and Ticks is always right. I don't think he's ever been wrong, because the only time he will be wrong is if someone gets injured in the warm-up, because he looks at... I would suggest that his team news comes from the team sheet that the manager has submitted to the referees. And the only time that would get changed is if the manager makes a move like between the point the team gets selected and kick-off because of injury or something else. But yeah, I mean, you can say it's the most reliable team news possible. Sometimes those predictors have been wrong when something has happened in the warm-up where the team has changed, if that makes sense. I think Rockstar's been wrong before, and he gets similar news. But Rockstar tends to get it after the deadline, if that makes sense. So yeah, that Andy Martin's absolutely right. Yeah, make sure you're happy with your team now, just in case when we get the City team news, you can't make any changes. Yeah, make sure you're happy with your team now, which I am. I'm happy with that. I'll take that. Excuse me. Been live for 2 hours now. I'm getting a bit yawny. And I'm on the caffeine come down after my 2 coffees. Solanke or Watkins? Oh, it's tough, isn't it? That's tough. Honestly, I think you should start both of them and there is someone else in your team you should get rid of instead. I'm hoping that's the case, mate. If you were to pick the two, it's a spin the wheel. It's a spin the wheel job. We'll spin the wheel for you. This is how you make all the 50-50s. So you've already done it on Isak and Wilson and it said Isak. If Haaland's bench, I'll just keep my team as it is, mate. I think he either comes on, does all right, gets minutes, or he doesn't come on at all, and then my bench replaces him. I'm not going to do anything if Haaland doesn't play. Solanke, mate, says over Watkins. Johnny, welcome. There you go. Oh, captain, yeah. If Haaland doesn't play, then it'd be Salah. But I just Haaland is 100% picked by the Man City fans to start. And if he doesn't, like, I feel like if he doesn't start, he doesn't come on, right? Then Salah's my captain. So I'm fine. Ake or Akanji, please reply. Let's have a look at the Man City prediction from Jake French, afternoon boss. Good to have you here, mate. No Man City leak yet. It's coming from Team News Antics at 1:20. By that point, the game will have crashed. So what we're doing now, mate, is just looking at the predictions. So this is my favourite prediction account. They're saying Akanji's 100% to play, Ake's 48% to play. So I would go for Akanji over Ake. And they're also saying Haaland's 100%. Grealish is 20%, Alvarez 33%, Mahrez 60%, Gundogan 100, Foden 92, KDB 83. See it all there. I feel like that should really help you. And Edison is back to play as well. Yeah, go for it, Jake. I'm ready for some teams. Go for it. You want to look at Stonesy? Stones is 43% to play this week, according to those predictions. There he is on my cursor. 43%. There you go, mate. That's what you wanted. $23K. Everyone should be asking Jake for some advice. Popeye, I would go 50-50 Akanji, Chilwell. Probably start Akanji. $14K. Bloody hell. So I don't think Grealish is going to play. And I would probably... I think Tony might score. And I would do that. I wouldn't make any transfers. I just think there's any point with that team. That's what I would do. I wouldn't worry about Salah, mate. It's a lot of effort to get him in. It would hurt your team more than not to bring him in this week. So that would be me. Go Rico Lewis. I'm not sure he plays, mate. Oh, Ben, I would, mate, but that's a lot to think about, and we're very close to the league coming out now. So if I'll just do it. I'll do it next week, mate. That's so much to think about. I think it's really hard. I think that's a bit too complex. Grealish, I think, is going to be bench, mate. So I'd play Tony, and I think Tony could well easily score against Liverpool. White or Trippier? I'd play Trippier. I think without Gabriel, Arsenal are definitely worse off for a clean sheet than Newcastle this week. Tempted to give Rashford the armband, or I think Haaland is by far and away the better captain, but if you fancy it, go for it. Yeah, I've seen Meslier has been dropped. That's the news we've got so far. I'm going to go back on Twitter now. I'm assuming Elon's algorithm will promote the good tweets that I want to see anyway, so any team news we get will be my first tweet. Same person who told Let's Talk FPL that Edison was benched midweek says that Haaland starts. There you go. And he was right last week, by the way. Oh, of course he is. But the question is, does parking the bus actually mean they don't concede? I'm not sure it does. Should I bench now? I'd play Martinelli. Yeah, FPL South. So this is a reliable Twitter account for news. Every time he's tweeted something, he's got it right. Every time I've seen him tweet something, he's been right. And he says that Haaland starts. So there you go. I'll retweet that because he's reliable. So yeah, 3 tweets now saying that Haaland starts from semi-reliable sources. So yeah, I would say you can trust in that. God, Ben, how boring is that fight? Botman or White? I play Botman. I think both of them are going to play centre-back. Botman's got a bit more goal threat in my mind. And again, without Gabriel, I think Arsenal are weaker defensively than Newcastle are. So I play Botman. Alvarez start, is that confirmed? I haven't seen anything. But Haaland's been confirmed to play. I think Haaland scores a brace and Man City win 4-1. Just refreshing Twitter like a madman. Wonder if FPL's frozen yet. Not frozen just yet. Oh, you doing what I'm doing? Just refreshing Twitter. I want to see if Grealish starts, Jake. Because I've benched him on the assumption that he's not starting. But if Grealish starts, I think that changes it. And I probably should play him over Isak. So yeah, that would be my that would be the news I'm after. Grealish news. I didn't know that about West Ham, there being a flu. Man United always seem to just struggle when they play West Ham. They just make it very difficult, don't they? It's what Man United are a difficult team to play against now as well, to be fair. What a picture. They're going to die. That's a sofa. Nothing mad happening yet. I'll keep swapping between my 2 Twitter accounts. I completely agree, Jake. And he's done that, to be fair. The only time Haaland hasn't played, mate, you don't need to ask me that question. Would I start Isaac over Grealish? Look at my team. Yes. Right now I would. If Grealish plays, then I'd probably play Grealish over Isaac. But right now I think Grealish is going to get benched, so I'm playing him. I'm playing Isaac. So that's why I'm not desperate for the City team news. I'd be happy to have Isaac over Grealish if the game crashes. Oh no, Jake, I'm pretty chill. I think Chilwell could get an attack in return. And Kepa could get saves. It is what it is. I feel like, yeah, it could go wrong for me, but they're better than the other options I've got. Double Liverpool, yeah, it could. I think they'll concede, but obviously they can get attacking returns too. Yeah, I'm the same as Aj. I want him to get a rest so I don't have any troubles. Right, I'm just going to switch to this screen. Oh, there we go. Because I want to log into Instagram so we can look at team news and ticks. And I don't want you to see my password. There we go, we're ready. Ready to crash the servers. There you go, Heisenberg. With a leak. Haaland, KDB, Alvarez, Mahrez all start, so Alvarez might start. Interesting. No Grealish, that works for me. Lewis, Laporte, Ake, Kanji in defence. That's interesting. I'd be annoyed if Diaz doesn't play. I don't think there are any major changes, Johnny. I think it's going to be Sancho, Anthony, Rashford, Bruno, Ericsson, Casemiro, Dalot, Shaw, Lindelof, and Wan-Bissaka. I would, but I want to know the Man City team news. So Haaland, Grealish is not in the 11. Haaland, Grealish. Good Rashford, Jack Grealish. That's what we want to see. Don't know, yeah, mate. You can see the news as I can. I do not know the answers to these questions. Grealish does not start. There you go. There's the news. Grealish, no Grealish. Yeah, so there's no Diaz is a pain for me too, Ben. So there's no Grealish. Haaland, Alvarez play. Yeah, SK is great, but it's 1 week. Like, Lewis is going to play this week. Is he going to play again? Who knows? I think it's week on week with City. I think if you're suggesting that Lewis starts every game in the Premier League, you're not basing it on anything. I would start Steele, Brisky. Steele is the top goalkeeper for expected points this week. So start Steele. I'm on his Insta. He's not showing anything. What are you basing that off of, SK? I'm not getting emotive, but like, you've got no basis for that. I don't even think Pep knows who's going to play. Should I go from Madison to Rashi or any defenders? Yeah, I like a defender to Estupinan. The defender you least like in your team, go for Estupinan. Yeah, I'm pretty chill now. Now I know Grealish isn't playing, I'm chill. So let's see if he's done it. Because it's a minute late to when he said he'd be doing it. Oh, hey. Oh, brilliant. Do you hear that? He's absolutely trolling us with the porn noises. I don't know if anyone heard that on the cam. So the video on Instagram is the Haaland and De Bruyne starts. That's all he's given us. So all he said in his video is that Haaland and De Bruyne start. And then he played a woman doing some sexual moaning that I put on my speakers at full blast. Okay, so Haaland starts, Stones has been benched, Grealish has been benched, Haaland starts and Ederson starts. There you go. There's a summary of what he said. And he's tweeted as well, Haaland, Ederson start, Grealish taking a breather. There you go. That's not his account, sorry. That's not his attack. That's not his account. And Alvarez plays. I don't know about Ederson. That's not the real account. I'd hold Saka. Risky. So KDB starts according to team news, which probably means Alvarez doesn't. And then some people are saying Alvarez starts. What'd you do with that, eh? What'd you do with that info? You do have to stress about him, Johnny. If you've got absolute shite on your bench, you do. Am I keeping up with the chat well enough? I mean, I'm trying my best to get this team news. I'm not sure on Alvarez. He's the only one I'm not sure on. I don't care because he's not in my team, but I'm trying to help you out if you do have him. Grealish benched. Just bench him, mate. Just bench him. Oh, there's the crowning moment. Whoa. Limbs when the crown goes on. We don't care about that, though. Estupinian will start, I'm sure. Yeah, Stones is out too, Ben, by the looks of it. I'm trying to scroll and get news, but nothing on Alvarez. Why can't I see that tweet? Why can't I see that tweet? That's really annoying. Yeah, that would be my summary too. Trippier. No, I've put Grealish for... No, yeah, I'll go Trippier first on bench because he plays 90. Then I go Grealish, then I go Henry. That's my team. Desperate for the loo as well. But I'm going to hang on for these important 5 minutes. Diaz probably won't play either, BZ, so it's not worth it. Just bench him. I think it's Ake and Akanji at centre-back. So it doesn't look like Diaz starts either. I would play Saka because he's on penalties. I don't know why he's brought in Alvarez. I don't think I've seen anything to suggest that Alvarez plays. Ben Johnson. I got nothing on him, mate. Mate, just play Trippier. Just play Trippier. I'm not gonna. Please, just play Trippier. Because Diaz doesn't play either, I don't think. So just play Trippier. I saw one thing saying Diaz doesn't play. I'd just play Trippier. Folks, I'm trying to keep on top of the chat and refresh. Newcastle strikers are a sticky one. Yeah, I just picked one. Yeah, I'm playing Trippier over a bench Grealish, mate. Definitely. Stones or Mings, you should start 50-50 between Mings and Olise. Just decide. Take your pick. I wouldn't start Stones because he's benched, as I've said on the stream multiple times. So, yeah, it's Mings or Olise. Go with one of the two. I'm not gonna. I think they score the same points. To be honest, I don't think there's an easy choice there. McAllister, Matoma, or March captain. I have a good feeling. Well, mate, just go Haaland. I don't like it. I don't like it. Sorry. If I were to pick one, I'd probably go Matoma because Coleman's done an injury, hasn't he? Everton are not solid in defence, mate. They're bottom of the league, and Coleman's injured, I think, isn't he? Yeah, so Heisenberg saying Diaz and Stone's not starting. So there you go. De Bruyne plays. Khalid, I think you were with De Bruyne. Hopefully you can get him in. I don't know about Alvarez, mate. I think that's so risky. They are, but that's because they can't score. Deutschland only score for set pieces. I think that's it, lads, for all the news and stuff. I don't think we're getting any more. Focal's just brought in Alvarez, who apparently might not even play. Blimey. It's not bad, Dan. I think Diaz is going to start this week. He'll probably only play limited minutes then. Yeah, Stones is bench. That's what the league is saying, Brisky. I've said it about 3 times now. Well done, Khalid. Good moves. Stones use is confirmed. You should bench him. He's benched. I think it would make sense for him to be benched as well. That's it. Deadline's done. Hopefully you benched him. Right, I'm desperate for the loo now the deadline's hit. I'll be a minute and then I'll stick around for a little bit for a bit of chat. But yeah, the deadline's hit, so it's done. Whatever you've done is stuck. Good defence, Brisky. All right, I'm back for another. Well, I'll stick around for 5 minutes, and I desperately need to have some lunch. Nice team, Johnny. I think you're a very rare case, Brisky. I think that might work out as a nice differential for you. Bloody hell, Shaniel. That's unlucky. Lou review. It's just the number one, mate. Just standard. I can't give any more detail than that. Just a forgettable number one. Right, I think I'm going to end it there if that's okay. Yeah, I don't have any more to talk about, and I'm really hungry for some lunch, so I'm going to go and have some lunch if that's all right. It's a pleasure to have you all here. There we go, you get me in full screen for the end. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. I really enjoy doing these live streams. Whenever I'm free, I'm going to do them. I'm not going to stop. And yeah, just sorry I wasn't around the last couple of weeks. I was on my holidays. Yeah, if you enjoyed the stream and you haven't already, please leave a like rating. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're new around here or haven't done so already, please subscribe, and I will see you at the next deadline. I'm going to hold the salute pose. I'm going to hold the salute pose while we play the outro.